Hey, welcome to Late Night with Larry. I'm your host, Larry D. I'm here with my co-host, Vince. Vince, give me a shout out.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Larry D Studios. Glad to see you again.
That's right. We're here doing it once again, and we're doing it for you. So we want you to hit that subscribe button and follow us. It's right down there. That's it. That's right. And if you got a story, a haunting, a sighting, anything you want to share with us, you can get in touch with us at latenightwithlarry55@gmail.com. We want to hear from you.
Yep. Even if you have a story that's been passed down, we'd like to hear that too.
That's right. So
let's start off, before we do anything with our traditional, little something different here.
Oh, okay. What do we got here?
Root beer.
I like root beer.
This is Sangre de Sasquatch.
Sangre de Sasquatch. And for those of you that don't speak El Español, that's the blood of Sasquatch. Technical difficulty.
Yeah, my hands are all greasy. Just got out of the massage parlor. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I hope you got a happy ending.
Yeah, she read me Cinderella. I was pretty happy.
Perfect. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that is good. Okay, let's get on with the show. So we decided today we're going to swing it toward the alien side of the fence. We usually talk about Sasquatch. That's our favorite topic.
Right.
But like I was telling my brother, I've watched a couple interesting documentaries with Stephen Greer. And these documentaries, it's amazing how deep he goes into this subject. We have Bob Lazar, who was like one of the first big whistleblowers. And now we got Stephen Greer, who just takes it to a whole different level. And he's talking about some of the government cover-ups and, that we've been in contact with aliens since the 60s, and about the shadow government, which a lot of us think, with the Illuminati and whatnot. Right. And he made a good statement. He said, even the Illuminati don't know what the shadow government knows.
Right. And that's like top secret. I'm sure a lot of the elected officials don't even know.
No,
it's probably on a need-to-know basis.
He was saying Leon Panetta, when Obama elected him and gave him a list of all the programs that are going on, he reached out to the first program. He reached out, called him, and said, "Hi, I'm Leon Panetta, and they said, 'We know who you are, sir.' And he said, 'I want to know what this program's about and what's going on.' And they said, 'You're on a need-to-know basis, sir, and you don't need to know.' And they would not divulge any information. They shut him down. And this is a Joint Chief of Staff. He's responsible for our military, for, all these troops, our weapons. So if they wouldn't share anything with him, then that there's the secret government.
Right. Now, how do you think he felt, being an elected official or whatever, a higher up, and somebody tells him no, don't give him access to certain information?
I could imagine, for one, it pissed him off initially, and he's like, "What do you mean? Well, I'm the Joint Chiefs of Staff." And, they probably said, "Well, me who is on the other end of the line is telling you no, and I carry higher clout."
That's kind of got to put him in check a little bit, because he's like, well, I'm not the one in charge, obviously.
And I believe that statements like this and our elected officials getting shut down like that does put them in check, and it probably lets them know that we're just pawns in this big game. Even though we may hold a high elected office, we're still nothing in this game.
Right. And, they should think like that, because they are public servants. They are not rulers.
Right. And they should. Anyway, there were some good things that were brought out on these documentaries. And the first one I watched was called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and it's the new one that was made in 2020. And he talks about how the CIA is really interested, and they're like all up his ass about how he has a group of people and how they make contact with the aliens. And his premise is that, it's easy to contact these aliens if you have a pure heart, pure mind, and good intentions. He talks about meditation is one of the ways to clear your mind, to shut the mind down, and that's how you could contact these aliens. He basically goes on, and this premise ends up being that we are all one with the universe.
Right.
Even when you die, you still live on.
Right. Our energy.
That's right. And he was saying he had a near-death experience at 17, and he said, so when you almost die, you're not afraid of death. And through the years, he's learned how to meditate and hone. And what they do is they go out to remote parts of the desert or whatnot, and they meditate and they summon. And through their footage, they have like contacted many aliens, because they have the footage going, and you see the lights just pop up out of nowhere. And, he believes that these beings are multidimensional, and it's interesting what he did.
Right. Now, I want to go back to a book I read. It was nothing related to this. It was, there's a famous rock star, Sammy Hagar.
All right.
In his book, there's a section where he talks about aliens. And I don't know if it's when he's sleeping or what, but he said that he like has a link to them in his mind.
Right.
And he could even see the spaceship, inside their craft or whatever. And it always revolves around numbers. I can't remember the number he gave, but they were showing him the numbers and stuff.
And that's funny that you say Sammy Hagar said that, because some of the experiments that they do with, not so much contacting them, but with meditation and summoning aliens, they set random number generators out around the world. And they did an experiment to show that all living beings can, through conscious meditation and the thought process, can do crazy impossible things. So one of the experiments is they built a box, and they put a light that had the capability to rotate into 4 different corners. They moved the plant into a dark corner, and the light shining differently away. And once you know it, that the light started moving, and it started shining on the plant. And it was crazy how they said even plants have the ability to communicate, because we're all one with the universe.
Right.
And he said through death, you don't die, you live on. And the things that he talked about, astral travel and whatnot, and just the other dimensions, it gets deep.
Right.
And this is the thing, most people don't want to believe that.
Right.
They think that that's impossible.
Right. Well, a lot of people, if they weren't taught it in school or it's not in a textbook, they don't want to believe it's possible.
Right.
Or if it goes against their religious beliefs or whatever it may be, they're not going to buy it at all.
Right.
And we've both run into people like that.
I know many people like that.
Now, that's why one of the things we've always said with this podcast is bring an open mind.
That's right.
Just, listen, hear us out. We're just passing on information to you. Make of it what you want, but it does make you think.
Right. And the other thing that really stood out to me, and this is on one of the other documentaries, and I had the name on my mind, and I think I'm getting Alzheimer's. Yeah, I really think I am.
Is that where you shake a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he was talking about the shadow government and the control they have. And one of the things he said is they want world dominance. Not only world dominance, they want total dominance of space, Earth, the moon, Mars. They want total dominance. And here's the reasoning behind it. Because if any of you remember, recently Donald Trump started a Space Force.
Space Force
to combat the maybe alien invasion. Well, through this, he was saying that that's kind of what their objective is, because they want to do, And he said, in the near future, you may see it, but don't believe it, because the aliens are not aggressive. They're not here to harm us. And he said the secret government has had alien technology. They want to reverse engineer it, and they want to fake an alien invasion so that you could get on the side of them being hostile.
Right.
So that we can then start an intergalactic battle with these beings. And the reason is, they said if we could start a battle with these beings from other planets and get into an engulfed war, and where it gets big and dirty, they believe they could usher in the second coming of Jesus Christ.
That's interesting.
I was like, wow, I have never heard that theory.
Right.
I know what the Bible says about the second coming, and maybe what they're going to do will play into it. But I was like, wow, that's crazy how they think. But they're crazy.
Right.
They even talked about why Marilyn Monroe was assassinated. You know, everyone knows that she had a pill overdose, but he obtained some secret documents that tied her. Everyone knows she had an affair with both Kennedys.
Right.
You know, John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy, and she was. They kind of snubbed her, and she kept calling, and no one would return her call. So she threatened to come out with the secrets that she knew that they had told her. She said, "If you don't get in contact with me, I'm gonna go public and tell all." Well, he found this document that basically was her hit list. They basically put a hit on all of them because they thought they were all a threat.
Right. And that's actually not too far-fetched. I could believe that.
It's when I heard that, I said, you know, it is not far-fetched. The other reason I know that, and it's not far-fetched that they wanted to do away with JFK, is because he wanted to do away with the Federal Reserve.
Right.
And you know, the Federal Reserve's like, no way. You know, the Federal Reserve's not part of America, our government.
No.
It's a private entity, and they lend money to the world. The World Bank, they're all in cahoots, man. But it was interesting how, you know, he has been in contact with aliens, and he says they're not a threat to us.
Right. But through the use of propaganda, they're going to try to change the people's minds, just like any other war.
And that's what they're doing. That's why. And he gave examples. He said, if you look at a Hollywood movie, the invading aliens are always hostile and want to take over and want to destroy us.
Right.
He said that's part of the propaganda, the brainwash,
The conditioning.
to make you think, oh, that's right. These creatures they're hostile toward us. And he made a good point. He said, do you really think these technological advanced races, if they wanted to have a battle with us, that we'd be a match for us? It'd basically be set, check, done.
Right. They'd fry us all.
They would. And, you know, you got to think about that. If they could travel through the cosmos like they do, then I know they have weaponry that would just put us all down in a matter of minutes, probably.
Right.
And,
you know, that's funny you mentioned that, because out of all the alien sightings, UFO sightings I've ever read about, abductions, I've never once heard them talk about weaponry.
Right. I've heard them talk about them dismantling our weaponry,
Right.
but not their weaponry. I've never heard of anyone, even people that get abducted and they get probed and poked and pinched. You never hear of them killing anyone. They always drop them back off.
Right.
They're like, thanks for the sperm sample.
Yeah, thanks for the blood.
Right. Peace out.
Yeah. But
Interesting.
that's funny how you say that we've been in contact with them, because I watched a documentary on TV, and I want to say it was President Eisenhower, who had a gap in his schedule where while the general public didn't know where he was, he said he was at the dentist.
Right.
But supposedly during that time, he was on vacation in California, Palm Springs, I believe.
It was Palm Springs.
And then he disappeared for a while. And they said he had a secret meeting with the aliens, and they came to some kind of agreement. Now, what kind of agreement, I don't know. Maybe they shared technology. Maybe he said, okay, you could probe or abduct so many people, you know, do your experiments.
Right. No, I believe that that's true. Reason is, if you look at the time period, look at when supposedly we were working with them in cahoots and quid pro quo, if you would say this for that. Our technology started to advance by leaps and bounds. So for over the, let's take it from the time Christ died, 2,000 years later, in the last 100 years, we're looking at 1,900 years prior, and we're still horse and buggy. All of a sudden, we start making leaps and bounds. Within that 100 years, we go to the moon. We build satellites that can give us communication instantly at the speed of light around the world. We build cars that we don't need horses anymore.
Right.
We have jets that could fly hundreds of people across country. And we have the internet where we could communicate at the speed of light with people on the other side of the world.
And we have these smartphones, which everyone is so dependent on.
Right. And it makes you really think, wow, we really became smart real fast.
Actually, technology made leaps and bounds, but I wouldn't say we're any smarter.
No.
Technology like this kind of dumbs us down.
It does dumb us down because we can't even remember phone numbers or or do simple math.
It's changing our species because with our telephones and stuff, we don't want to do face-to-face meetings anymore.
Right. And we're so dependent on the machine to give us the correct number.
Right.
Rather than our own mind. Now, our mind is what built this machine, but this machine is going to dumb us down.
Right.
It's amazing what the changes I've seen in my lifetime.
Right. Just what we've seen in even the last 2 decades.
Right. Can you imagine what someone from the 18th century would think about our computers, our cell phones?
He'd want to burn us at the stake.
That's right. We'd all be on the stake because we're practicing witchcraft.
Right. Now, just think back, like I said, 2 decades when the VHS tape came out. Remember, we had reel-to-reel and 8-track. Then we jumped to CD. And now everything, you could stream a whole album. You could fit several albums on your phone.
That's right.
In a matter of minutes.
And isn't that crazy? Now, the other thing is we've just become so sedentary. We don't even like hunt anymore. We're so dependent on just the grocery stores, everything. Our life has changed, and I do believe all this change has come through alien technology, because as we gain technology from them, we become more productive. Maybe not smarter, but more productive.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it, but the interesting thing is there's been many scientists that have said if you look at the universe, there is no way we could be alone. They have identified, and I said 15 exoplanets, but this scientist said, he said, the general public doesn't know, but our space telescopes that are out there going through these galaxies, he said, we've found like hundreds of planets that are in proximity from their sun like Earth, and they say they could host life. And how can we get there? That's what they're working on.
Right.
The other thing is the alien said our technology, and we talked about this in a recent podcast where the aliens told some preschool kids in South Africa, our technology is going in the wrong way. Well, I kind of was wondering, what do you mean by that? But they kind of clarified it for me. Our technology is going in the wrong way, and it's not so much our cell phones and whatnot. It's our energy technology, because we drill in the earth, we burn the coal, we burn the fossil fuels, and they said we're destroying our planet.
Right.
That's what they meant by our technology is going in the wrong way.
And not only that, any technology, they want to put a wartime application to it. And that's where a lot of our technology comes from, is military experiments.
That's right. That's right. And that made sense when they broke it down. I said, it does make sense, because we're drilling at unprecedented rates just to keep up with our just in America, our oil consumption, that's gas. Oil's used in everything, plastics, you name it, oil's in it. Even these green wind turbines that spin and give us green energy, they're not going to spin without oil.
Right. And a lot of people that want to get rid of like fossil fuels and plastics, they don't really stop and think how much of that is in the hospitals.
That's right. They do not. We are totally dependent on petrol oil. It's true when they say the dollar is the petrodollar. It is so true. I want you to think about that out there for a minute. The petrodollar.
Yep.
I mean, the plastic bag that carries your beer home, your cell phones, your screen, everything has oil. Oil plays a part.
It comes from crude oil. They refine it.
Right.
It separates, and that's where you get different products.
Different products from it, but it's all coming from oil. And I really thought about that, and I'm like, everything in my household, almost everything I touch has a part in petroleum.
Right.
Especially that KY jelly. Yeah, but no, people think about it. But these aliens came, they come and they talk to us, and they tell us there's a better way.
Now I understand that. I mean, have they helped us find a better way? Maybe our government don't want to go that way because it's not a whole lot of profit for them.
That's that you brought up a good point that they also bring up. They're willing to share technology with us to change us for the better, but we're the ones that don't want to change because we can't put a price on it.
Greed.
And it comes down to the 1% that controls all the wealth in the world. If they can't make money off it, they don't want to bring it to the public.
Right.
What good is it for them to have free energy if they can't charge for it?
Right.
Now
I'm sure they would find a way to charge for it, but
they would try, but like Richard Greer said, if we could become conscious, and they call it awake conscience on a level just 1%, he said through 1% everything would change if we could just become conscious, and through that change, we would stop living the way we do, and we would start seeing some of these technologies and how they're beneficial.
Right.
The planet would be a totally different planet. Now, our visitations have increased, and they said they increased when we set off the first atomic bomb.
Right, because somebody out in deep space heard it, they felt it, and they said, what are these idiots doing? It's like you have these very naughty kids. They're going to hurt themselves.
Right. Well, they talked about if we are interdimensional beings, the devastation that atomic bomb did on the 2 Japanese cities, they said, if we're interdimensional, how do we know when we set those off, we didn't do greater damage somewhere else?
Right.
And that's why they may be coming to say, what did they do? Why are they doing this?
Yeah.
And I thought about that for a minute. I'm like, yeah, if everything's connected and we're interdimensional, then we did through setting off those 2 bombs. We may have destroyed someone else's cities and planets, and
right.
Because the repercussions aren't only felt on this planet; they're felt throughout time and space. And I know that may sound a little deep, but think about it for a while, and it may sink in.
Right, yeah. And, it is something to think about. Just, could you imagine you're just home in another dimension and everything blows up?
I couldn't. For damn sure, we'd send out scouts to say, what the hell's going on? Who's attacking us?
Right, and that's why our visitation has increased.
That's right. And supposedly, there's like 40 different species from different planetary star systems that are visiting us, and they said we can't figure it out yet, but the way they bend time and space, we think of it on a linear scale,
right,
where it's, how are we going to get to Mars? That's 3 light years or whatever. They're like, it's going to take us forever, but through their intelligence, they've already learned how to jump from one part of space and time to the other. Kind of like Einstein said, if you could bend the wormhole theory and whatnot, and he proved light could bend. So if light could bend, time and space could bend. We haven't figured it out. We're not that smart, but they have.
Right. Now, will they share that kind of technology with us? I don't know, because they might say, I don't want these guys at my house.
I don't think they'll share it with us until we're ready, until we all become one. And what I mean by one is not violent like we are, not killers, not warmongers, when we could live in harmony, you know?
Peacefully, yeah.
And not only in harmony on this earth, in harmony with everyone else in the universe.
Right. Now, that is a big task, because it's just human nature. We want what other people have. If they don't want to give it to us, we're going to grab a stick.
And that's why they said the technology they've given us has been limited, because they see our intent. They've sat up in space, underwater, whatnot, and they've seen how we conduct ourselves. They see that the racial hate, the wars we create. They just say these people just kill each other for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
Other than a political means for profit.
Yep.
So it was interesting. So I would recommend you guys Google Richard Gere and not Richard Gere, Richard Steer.
Yeah, you might find looking for Mr. Gleason.
Stephen Greer. I'm sorry. I was
thinking about American Gigolo.
I was thinking about Pretty Woman. Come on,
okay.
man. Anyway, yeah. But Stephen Greer, he's got a lot of documentaries out there, and these last two I watched are Unacknowledged, watch that one, and Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Right.
Watch them both. They are going to make you think. And if you watch them and you don't think, then you're numb. You're numb. You've already been programmed for the deep state.
You need to open your mind, folks. Don't believe everything they tell you. Question them. It's okay to question them.
It is. And that's the other thing he said, that, there's no democracy, there's no freedom. It's run by the deep state. All your media, they tell them what to post. Everything, all social media, all communications, all broadcast systems are run by the deep state. They are going to program you, and they're doing a damn good job.
Right.
It's interesting.
Right, it is, and I'm definitely going to have to watch those documentaries. I believe into that. I mean, we're both military guys. We know how the government operates.
Yep, we do. They're dirty.
They are. It's all about keeping us, we the people, in the dark, so they could do whatever suits their agenda.
That's right. They want us to come home they want us to go to work every day, work hard, come home, get fat, lazy, and stupid, and watch TV.
Right. They don't want us to question anything. And that's why the technology they choose to share with us is the one that dumbs us down. We don't look up from our phones. Not many people look up in the sky anymore.
No, we don't. And I'm guilty of it too. I mean,
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. But I do my research on things because I don't want to get blindsided by some bullshit.
Right.
Let me give you a good example. I was at my nephew's apartment last night helping him set up his TV, and we walked out, and I looked. It's dark, and I was looking at the different apartments. Every apartment there was a TV on.
Yeah.
And I said, "This is what America does at night."
Yeah.
We come home, we stuff our face with processed food, and we watch a screen.
Right. Now, I'm not really like that. I could go weeks or even a month without even turning my TV on.
Yeah, we don't watch. I mean, we watch TV, but not like we used to.
But my smartphone, that's my downfall.
Yeah. I do look at my smartphone, but, my wife will tell you I come home and I put my phone in my room, and I'll check it every now and then. I want to get away from that. I do enough at work. My joy was reading, and I want to get back to that because I think that's where knowledge is. It's not in the TV because lately, as I've grown up, I grew up with some good programs, but lately I watch a TV and everything's the same, just in a different format, and it is stupid.
Right. And not only that, the news, the media, you got to question it.
Yes, they stuff it down your throat. I do watch my TV, but when I do, it's either alien documentaries or Sasquatch documentaries because these are the things I'm into.
Those are the things we are into.
That's right.
And that's why we look at things with an open mind. If you could believe in aliens, Sasquatch, you got an open mind.
That's right.
And too many people just block things out. Oh, no, it's not possible.
Right.
Or it goes against their belief system, their religion.
And that's what they want you to do. That's what the global media wants you to
Right. And what they want to do is keep us divided. And it's all a distraction. So the deep state can do whatever they want.
And they're doing a damn good job, people. If you don't think they're achieving their goal, you're wrong. Look around you. And like I told someone at work today, just think of what we could accomplish if we would all come together in harmony.
Right.
There would be no war. There'd be no starvation. There'd be no racism. It would be a total different war.
We do not want to go to war with anybody. It's our government telling us to.
That's right. And they send the poor to war.
Right. And my brother could he could back me up on this. When we were in the military, we go to other countries. You meet the regular people one-on-one. They're great. Every country I've been to, they're hospitable. They'll take you into their house. They'll feed you. Wonderful, wonderful. I've come across so many wonderful people. It's our government pitting us against other governments.
And other people. And he's right. I've been to other countries, and, there were some times where they were hostile toward me, but it was the other country's government or police force. But the everyday citizens, they wanted to know what our country was like, and they wanted to know our culture, and they were hospitable, and they weren't a threat to us.
Right.
So, but if you look on the TV, every Middle Eastern person's a threat. Every South African person's a threat. Every Russian's a threat. Yeah, that's not true.
Right, and not true at all. Now, when I was in the military, it was when the Soviet Union was collapsing. I was in the Middle East. We were supposed to stay away from them, but I got the opportunity to meet some of the Russians, and they were there. They didn't want to have nothing to do with the military. They weren't getting paid no more. Their mission was they're flying things to the black market because they weren't getting paid anymore.
So you could see how these people want the same as everyone.
Right. It's our governments who want something different.
Governments go to war, not people.
Right. They just use us like pawns in chess.
That's right.
Not to quote Black Sabbath or anything.
But they do. And it's wrong. So you people out there, think about it. And
yeah. Now we started out talking about aliens, but it all ties in because the deep state.
It does.
It uses alien technology,
right?
And that's where this was going.
And if you think it doesn't, this does tie into aliens because they're the ones coming down here giving us a message. Even if you look at some of the crop circles and the videos of crop circles, the lights that do them, there's a message in there, and we don't know how to decipher it because we're not looking into it and we're not paying attention.
Right.
Now, like some scientists said, these crop circles are algorithms. They're math that someone faking a crop circle better be a damn scientist. And some of them don't even know what some of them mean.
Right.
But they're high math. There's a message in all the crop circles. We're the ones that just don't want to look, listen, and learn.
Right. Now, before we go, I got a real quick question. I don't really have an answer for this. Maybe you will. Say the aliens want to share some technology with us or even show us. What if they offered you the opportunity to go back to any date and time?
If they offered me the opportunity to go back to any date and time, I would go back to the date of my birth. That way I could whisper in my ear and say, you better take a different path, you fucker.
Yep. Smack yourself.
Yep. I'd put that message in my ear.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of things I'd like to see. I'm sure I might regret seeing some of the things I want to see.
I probably would too, but
like we're both we have our religion. I'd like to go back and see
the crucifixion,
the birth of Christ, the pyramids being built.
That's what I would. You hit that one. I would love to see how the pyramids were built. How did they move those big stones?
And for what purpose?
Right. I would love to do that. And I would love to be able to get up close to a pharaoh to see if their heads are elongated.
Right.
And if they are, they're alien.
But if we were to go back in a time like that, that we wouldn't last, because if you're not royalty, you're a slave.
That's right. Well, if I'm going to go back in time, I'm going to be royalty. Shit. Why am I going to be a slave?
Yep.
Anyway, I know we got off subject a little bit, but that's what discussions are about. They're rabbit holes. And we hope you came along with us, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Right. And come back to another rabbit hole next week.
That's right. And if you got a rabbit hole you want to take us down, like we said, contact us. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Peace out. Be good people.
Peace.